Okay, hello, Maidenettes and Maidenites, babes and bubbers. It's episode 40 of Maidencast, and this week we have made it to the end of the Maiden albums, at least. This week we are doing the Book of Souls, an album I've ended up with 3 copies of for some reason. Don't know why, but
No, yeah, I've got the book, but that was it.
I don't know where that one come from, but it's all battered and whatnot. So, yeah, there you go. So, if you're new to the show, this is what we do. We are going through the Iron Maiden catalogue, an album per episode, and stopping by along the way. We are doing every solo album, side project, and nook and cranny that comes up. A little bit of housekeeping before we get going. I want to do some shout outs to you lovely people. We seem to be gaining a bit of ground now. People are getting involved and they're commenting. So I just wanted to say hello to Kevin Robinson from America, who has invited us out for beers if we're ever in his state. So, yeah, well, I'll have Luke's beer.
You can have my beer, but thanks for the invite, son.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 196 666. He's been commenting quite regularly, actually. And from his comments, it seems like he's got a bit of a bootleg collection, which I'll happily rummage through. And he agrees with Luke on the No Prayer for the Dying episode, to which I respond the same response I always get when I say I support Charlton. Someone has to.
What did he agree with me with?
That,
I haven't read that comment. So, because obviously you get notifications, I don't. I have to go back and.
That he agrees with you on the review.
Oh, I watched on my views on the album.
Yeah.
Oh, right, hang on. Well done, son.
J42112. Hello, mate. Shout out to Gav. Shout out to Path for free. Hello to Andy Helms. Hello to Wig Type. And hello to Colonel Billington. Hello to all of you. Thank you for listening and thank you for commenting.
Indeed. Well done. Thanks very much. It's always better when we've got some back and forth and disagreements and agreements and all that shit.
I thought as well, if you are a regular listener, you might skip one here and there, but you'll definitely be in for this one. So I thought I'd save the shout outs for today's episode. So yeah, here we go. Book of Souls. Is there much really to go into the background? Not really.
Well, obviously we got the fact that Bruce recorded it when his throat was obliterated with cancer, and arguably, I would say it's one of his best ever vocal performances. And the fact he did that with a tumour the size of a golf ball on the back of his tongue just tells you all you need to know about the man, really. He's a bit of a fucking savage. And it's quite remarkable, I think.
I did have that special edition of Metal Hammer as well, where it gives you like a song-for-song guide for it. But I can't remember what I've done with it.
Bruce is just another one of those frontmen who's managed to grab cancer by the balls and give it a kick in, along with Dave Mustaine and Chuck Billy from Testament.
Yep.
Sort of smashing it out. And it looks as like the drummer from Exodus is currently kicking its arse as well. So, well done, geese.
Yep. There you go.
Fuck cancer.
Yeah, it was quite an odd story as well, because he sort of diagnosed it via Google.
Yeah, he did.
And then went, right, I'll keep that one to myself. Recorded the album, and then went, right, done? Good. Right, I'm going to doctors.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So,
it's the thing, he's an intelligent man, though, and he knows the difference between legitimate sort of diagnoses and some twat on a message board, giving their opinion. Yeah,
he said as well, it was something like stage 4 or something like that. It was that ain't good.
That's the end game, isn't it? That one.
Well, no, but the doctor said you'd rather have stage 4 of this than stage 1 of that. Right? There's 100 different types out there, and all for different. Yeah. But so there was that. There was also the 2 solo Dickinson contributions. One mainly written on the piano. In the words of Paul McCartney, I wrote that song on the piano.
It's a piano he won in a raffle, wasn't it?
A piano he won in a raffle.
He started fanning around on it, and it turned into something. And as usual for Bruce, the other one, he wrote for a solo album, and then Steve Harris heard it and went, no. Bring it over here.
And we've still yet hear that solo album.
So well, I think, to be honest, it fucked up because this was supposed to be the opening track, and all that shit at the end about my name is I can't think what the voiceover.
Yeah,
thing.
you got the voiceover bit at the end, didn't
and
you? Let's have a look.
That was supposed to be the start. That was the concept. Was that, and the whole fucking concept just went out the window because Steve Harris was like, "No, we're having it."
Yeah, my name is Necropolis. I am formed of the dead. I am the harvester of the soul meat, and I suck the lives from around my bed. My own two sons, I gave them breath, and I filled their living corpses with my bile. What humanity I knew, I have long forgotten. For me, eternity is nothing but a short while. See, I thought, it says here, what humanity I knew, I have long forgotten. I thought it said, what humanity knows, I have forgotten.
Oh, right,
as if you don't know jack shit. You
know. No,
No,
this sounds like he's used to be human, and that's proper, that, isn't it? I love that. That's on that was on the t-shirt for the tour. Well, good.
I quite like that one myself.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all mad, aren't they?
I think I just prefer the colours, but yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, no, that's cool. Hopefully, we'll have similar stuff in Senjutsu because we've got.
I'm guessing that's the format.
Because it's the same
now.
guy, isn't it? It's Mark Williamson. If that's did I say his name correctly? Mark Wilkinson. Do apologise. And he's so he's got the minimalist Eddie there again, like I say, and hopefully in Senjutsu we'll have crazy samurai fucking shit.
This is the newest one. Yeah. I quite like the CDs.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
You get the Eddie in there.
Yeah, no, it's well good, isn't it? I love that one. I mean, Mark Wilkinson, he's English, and he's I didn't know anything about him really.
This is pretty much the same, just in smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, he's English, and he was Marillion's go-to guy until Fish left, and then he went with Fish.
Oh right, yeah, I know you're talking about.
He did like the first 7 albums, and he did everything that Fish did. He did Ram It Down, Painkiller, Jugulator, Angel of Retribution, Nostradamus, and Redeemer of Souls.
Yeah.
And so the Painkiller, I mean, we all love the Painkiller album, and the Jugulator front cover.
Painkiller's back there. I ain't going up to get that.
And he did the remastered version of Live at Donington. You know, the Bat.
Yeah, carry on.
He did the best of the B-sides of Eddie getting his arse out, which is a bit of a strange one. And then he comes across with Book of Souls and Senjutsu.
Well,
so yeah, the guy knows his shit.
Yeah, but if that's bollocks, that's at the back there. If that's
actually,
right,
he's actually done a load of Judge Dredd artwork as well, which is pretty cool.
He must be the guy that's done the new Acid Rain album as well, because Howard is a massive Marillion fan, and he got talking to. It must be the same guy that did the artwork for Marillion, and he said he told him that a poster of a single was above his bed as a teenage, like as a kid. He says, and I've still got it up on my living room now. And that became the conversation, and he ended up doing the artwork for the new Acid Rain album.
Oh, cool.
And same sort of thing. It's a cool cover, but the album, when you go into the album, it completely blows up. Yeah. So really cool album as well. The Age of Entitlement, which I think is a fucking fantastic title. And it's got like a sort of demented jester clown doing like taking a selfie. But it's got to be the same guy. I've got to quickly look this up now. Sorry, people. But yeah. It wasn't... It was pretty much the... picking up where they left off, really, wasn't it? I mean, it's still Kevin Shirley producing. It's still...
Yeah, they went back to Paris, didn't they, where they did Brave New World, because they liked the sound there. And at the time, this was the longest gap between Maiden albums.
I was right. Years. Yep, that's right. Acid Rain.
Cool.
All right, so that's something. It was
the longest gap between albums. Yeah, 5 years. It had never been done.
I didn't know.
They were getting progressively longer in the album union period, but obviously now we've surpassed that with Senjutsu, all because of a pandemic and whatnot. But at least we're back on track. But yeah, like you say, I mean, Maiden are not trying to
started doing these tours in between the tours.
Yeah,
as well,
that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And they're getting progressively longer.
Yeah, mind you, like they said with Senjutsu, what they recorded, I mean, it's been recorded 2 years. So they were trying to say they want to record in breaks of touring, so they can maximise the touring, but not have it jeopardise the recorded output. Which is, if you can do it, great. We get fucking all this. If they're forever touring, then that's what's going to keep them young. Because the minute they stop, all the arthritis is going to kick in. The fucking, Nico's going to seize up. So that's probably why they do it, to keep the fucking body pushed and keep fit.
Well, Nico, I mean, obviously that probably, because Nico would be drumming more or less every day anyway. He said, didn't he? He drums he drums every morning.
Yeah, and he plays in covers bands in the rock and
plus
ribs.
He plays in his bands at his rib place.
Yeah.
So he's always doing something. But even then, though, if his restaurant's been shut for the last year, you don't know what he's in Florida, though, isn't it? They've been a lot more.
Yeah, they
realistic.
They sort of stayed open the longest before everything shut down, and they opened up again first. Because that's where the UFC went, and WWE, when they wanted live events, they went to Florida, and of course it was fucking packed. So yeah, Nico would have been open, and meat on the grill would have been going.
Yeah, and Bruce is doing handstands and whatever it is he does.
Yeah,
training to be a samurai now.
Yeah, that's it. Bet. Yeah, fencing is going the next level.
Yeah, I'm predicting it. He's going to come out on stage in the full samurai gear.
It depends what. It obviously depends what songs they play. Because if they play the title track, probably will do something.
Well, they're going to open with the. They always open with the opening track, didn't they? They've only ever.
No, they open with the single, don't they?
No.
Yeah.
No, they always open with the opening track of the new album, didn't they?
X Factor opened with Man on the Edge, mate.
Yeah, the one tour they didn't do that. So they didn't open with Speed of Light on the Book of Souls tour, did they?
No, of course they didn't. Yeah, I'm talking about. But no, so yeah, they will open with Senjutsu. So yeah. So yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. Right. So I suppose. Yeah, there's really not a lot of background to go into.
No, let's
go with the. What do you think of the initial? Let's give it a little headline. What do you think? Summing up going forward. We give a little hint of where we're going. Then we go through it song by song, and then we have a little conclusion at the end.
Book of Souls, in a summary, it's like an onion, mate. You peel back the layers, and the more you get.
Yeah. I'm leaning more over here, by the way, because I saw how the split screens always comes out. Yeah. It looks fine, but we're the last to find out how it actually looks.
It goes live, and you've got half a face, and I'm pointing to a cat that weren't even there.
I will be. I keep saying I'm going to, but at some point I am going to transfer all of these onto MP3, and it'll just be a podcast format anyway. But I think you pretty much. You play this in the background or on your headphones anyway. Yeah. I don't see why you would want to, look at Luke the whole time. I mean, well, yeah, I was just saying, ladies, yeah. So,
so we've veered wildly off course now. We've got a whole new hashtag going on with the summary. Yeah, I mean, this is.
I've got a beard now as well, so I'm catching up with you.
Yeah, dream on. Yeah, like you've got the ones that obviously stand out, but the more I've listened to, I mean, I haven't listened to this solidly for a couple of years.
I listened to it for the first time in a couple of years. Well, the thing is, some albums do need to be listened to in one. Like you need to go right. No, some just need to be played, and it's all right when it's Raining Blood, because it's only 20 minutes long. But one song on this is longer than Raining Blood. So, yeah, this one, I feel it doesn't necessarily all the songs stand up on their own, but it is like, nah, I'm waiting, and it's like certain films, but it's like, no, I need to have the house to myself, and I'm sitting and watching it, be it Apocalypse Now or I don't know, think of a film that's really long, Lord of the Rings.
You done it yet?
Yeah. What's that?
The Irishman.
No, I've still not seen The Irishman.
Awesome, mate. Awesome.
But you get what I mean. Sometimes you need to set that time aside.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily have to, but it is something that you do. But yeah, yesterday I went out and I listened to this all the way through. and I had to come home and do Empire of the Clouds on its own here because that was one I ran out of time on. But yeah, I think this is a absolutely fantastic album. It was.
I doubt.
It was exactly what I wanted and what I needed.
Up from Final Frontier.
It wasn't. And that was the one I struggled with on the last episode. It is an album I struggle with. It's not that I particularly dislike it for any reason. It's just not one I go back to very often.
It just doesn't. It doesn't click, does it? It's got all the individual pieces that should fit together.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they just don't. There's a couple of tracks on there that sort of fuck up the symmetry of it. But this, I mean, there's a couple, but we'll get into them. But no,
this one as well. I mean, it didn't hit me on the first listen, but it rewarded repeated listens, and every 3-4 listens in, I was hooked.
You find something else, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just like a wow. What did I just listen to? I'm gonna have to start again.
And the thing is, now I think that's what a lot of Maiden fans, when you go onto forums and you go onto, especially the official fan club forum and that, they're always going, "Oh, we want the shorter songs, we want the fucking hits, we want this, and it's almost like their attention span doesn't allow them to sink into an epic like this.
Oh, Bruce Dickinson was even asked on the interview trail for this. Don't you think? I mean, how long is the album?
92. This album, 92 minutes.
Oh, it's just an hour and a half. So it's
it's film length.
And he just went, well, you can go on Call of Duty for 4 hours and not think twice about it. Why can't you do 90 minutes worth of music? Whatever happened to sitting down and listening to an album? You don't even have to sit down and listen to it. You can have it in the car. You can have it in the. It went, and not only that, with 5 years it's been 90 minutes every 5 years. I think it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, fucking right. And it is a case of, they crib and moan. I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not don't want to slag them.
I mean, bloody hell, look at a Marvel film. I mean, is there a Marvel film that's under 2 hours?
No.
Even the shortest one. I mean,
the shortest
one was the last one?
Sort of, well,
what was the one that's just out? Black Widow?
Black Widow, that's 2 hours odd.
2 hours, yep.
Yeah. So it's, it rewards, and you need the songs just bring you in. Yeah, there's some short, sharp shots, and yeah, everyone loves Trooper, everyone loves Ace's Eye, everyone loves Can I Play with Madness. But Maiden now, I demand something else from Maiden. Maiden have reinvented themselves. There's 2 Maidens. Well, in fact, there's 3. There's Dickinson. There's that era there, 80 to 92, where you had the odd 7-minute, the odd 8-minute. You had obviously Wyman the Ancient Mariner 13 and a half. That was an anomaly. That was like fuck. Then you had the Blaze era, which started something off. And then the Reunion era took what the Blaze era started and just went fucking see ya. Because that's where it started with the epics and the real proggy shit and the mellow intros and the 4-minute intros and all that. It all started with X Factor. And that's probably why people don't agree with modern day Maiden, because it started in an era that they've just fucking dismissed. I still read it now. People going, "Oh, I don't even count it as Iron Maiden." What?
Fuck off.
Fuck off. You know what I mean? It's still got 3 members of the supposed classic golden era in it. Get a grip. Nico, Steve and Dave. The X Factor. It's still written by the same guys. It's still played by the same guys, but they've changed. They've morphed. They've got more adult. And if you don't like it, I'm happy to take over where you left off, mate. No. I will always pick Reunion Maiden over Classic Maiden every day of the week because it rewards me more.
Yeah, it's. I do think that people do have a fair point. I do think that the longer songs are good and are fine. I just like a little more of the shorter, sharper songs. But I do think they found the balance on this one. This one addressed that perfectly for me because you've got the perfect number of each. I mean, the first CD goes a bit heavy at times. I mean, you've got. I mean, the Red and the Black, for example, that would have been like a closer or a centerpiece of an earlier album. It's like, was it 15 minutes long or something ridiculous like that? 13 minutes long, and it's not even the
longest one.
It's just a track on there. It's not even it's a breeze. But then on the second thing, straight in, you got Death of Glory, Shadows of the Valley, Tears of a Clown. Yeah. You've got earlier on in the album, you've got whatchamacallit, Speed of Light. This one is perfectly paced for me, and yeah, when the river runs deep, there's another one as well. I just think, when I think, right, I've had enough now. It just gives you this little palate cleanser, and then bang, we're into something else again. And not only that as well, with a long song, and again, I've said this many a time, but it's a valid point here. A good long song is long by accident. A good long song, you don't realise how far you come until you look back and go, bloody hell,
just flowing
look how far back we were.
Yeah.
A bad long song is when you write one on purpose.
Yeah, where you go, we've got to make it.
Right, we've got to do it. That's the dumbest thing you could ever possibly do. You need to go, when you're writing a song, there's something missing from this. We need to add a little bit in.
Yeah, that's it.
Something
it just flows.
This needs a bit more. This thing, and next thing, bloody hell, that song's 12 minutes long. Or that song's, that's how they do it. And again, it was never a problem as such for me. I would just gone, it's a little top heavy with that. Just a couple of, just like, that's what we said with X Factor.
They learned their lessons from that, didn't they?
It was a bit of a heavy lift, a few little nuggets here and there just to break things up.
The B-sides would have slotted in perfectly, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and what I think as well
would have been perfect.
With that being said, though, they're clearly that's where they're at now. That's where they're inspired, so that's fine. But I've always said, for shorter single light songs, I rely on that now for Priest. I've always said Priest have the better songs, Maiden have the better albums. It's like the Beatles and the Stones. That's the way I see the two now. That's who's better, Priest or Maiden. It's like, well, Priest are the better singles. Maiden, you sit down and listen to, and that's my
I wouldn't agree with that, but I can see your point.
Single songs is what I mean. I don't mean all of Judas Priest songs are better. I'm saying
but,
Judas Priest with the thing you can select bit ones and make up like a best of. Whilst Maiden, I find you need the complete album. You need to complete the set. And that's my difference between, say, the Beatles and the Stones. Beatles, you need all the albums. Stones, the compilation, you pretty much got everything you need. That's the comparison I'm making.
That's cool. Yeah, see that. I mean, talking about obviously the long songs. When Harris, because it cracked me up reading an interview with Bruce in Kerrang when he did the only interview for Writing on the Wall and all that.
Oh, I got halfway through reading that and then didn't got around to finishing it.
It's brilliant. He was talking about how like the songwriting process worked, and he said like Steve will come in and lock himself away for days on end, and we'll just all be in the studio playing pinball, just waiting, and then all of a sudden he'll come out and go, right, I've got one, lads, studio, and they'll just go. He said, whereas me and Adrian will just play a riff and I'll sing over it, a bit more old school, just trying to get it so it fits right. So you imagine in the writing sessions for this, Steve's locked himself away, fucking writing the Red and the Black. He's come out 2 days later going, lads, in the studio, I've got one, 13.5 minutes. It rivals Rhyming the Ancient Mariner. And you just know deep down somewhere Bruce went, hold my beer. And he locked himself away with that piano. And because that they are competitive. It was always, when in the old days, wasn't it? They was always the two of them, always bouncing off each other. So that's.
I didn't know the Red and the Black was written by Harris. I thought that was Adrian Smith.
No, it's a Steve special, mate.
Oh, right. We're going to go back to a previous episode in a minute then. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
You can tell the way Steve writes now. He's got a certain way of writing.
Yeah.
You can tell he does it in sections, and you can tell that they're all the same, but they're not the same. He never repeats musically, but he repeats sections you can pick out a mile away. It's the same on When the Wild Wind Blows. It's the same on the Red and the Black. I've no doubt it'll be the same on Death of the Celts and the Parchment and all that. There'll be the same structure, but he never repeats musically.
Yeah. That is one thing with this actually. But yeah, all right. I think we'll start getting into the music then. Right, If Eternity Should Fail.
Well, it's got a great title to start with. I think that's a fucking brilliant title, that.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what this the concept is of this. I wouldn't even mind a slightly amended version of this song on a solo album as well.
Him doing a solo album and just writing it.
Yeah, just tweaking it or whatever, or even just re-recording it, maybe a bit heavier or something like that.
He did it with Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, didn't he?
With No Lies. No Lies, No
No,
Angels.
because he actually released on one of the fucking many special editions. He actually released "Bring It to the Slaughter" as it was recorded.
I thought it was the demo.
But it was slightly different. It just didn't have the embellishment. So it's.
I wonder who he's wrote it with and who he's.
And it's going to be written with our mate Roy, and imagine how heavy that will be.
You don't know though. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Because you know how heavy Eternity. It's one of the Maiden's heaviest songs ever.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's been written with Roy Z, and with because he's down tuned and he's got a better guitar, like a heavier guitar tone, I should say. So imagine him chugging away with bass strings on his guitar like he did for Chemical Wedding. That'd sound immense.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But it starts off got the old weird intro, haven't you? With Bruce doing his almost a cappella. Just that weird ambience going on in the background.
Yeah. I love the way, you've got, this is what I said as well, some songs just hit the ground running. Sometimes I use my my James Bond analogy.
Yeah.
This is nothing like that. This starts from the ground up. So you've got that siren going. Oh, it's not a siren, is it?
Yeah, it's just a weird effect.
You've got like a bit of a Indiana Jones feel to it.
Yes,
and then here is the soul of a man.
Yeah.
That little introduction. I mean, that could have been, if this was a concept album, you could probably break this opening track into 3 tracks alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it just kicks in, that. It's much more like slightly, but not exactly the same. But when Operation Mindcrime finally finds its feet and finally kicks in,
2 tracks in, and then when Revolution Calling kicks in.
I mean, it's brilliant live as well because he acts it out. He's got the hood up and he's got all coming out, and here is the soul of a man. So it's almost like an introduction. It's like when a soul is conjured up, we put in the strengths, the weaknesses, is a destiny in there as well. But again, I just love how this track just builds up just pretty much all the way through it. It just builds up to a climax.
Yeah, it does. And then obviously when you get when it kicks in heavy, the guitar slides in and it really fucking hits, doesn't it? And
it goes nice and fast towards the end. I love that melody sort of at the bridge to the chorus, that I think it's got a great chorus as well. It's got a
the chorus is excellent. It's proper earworm, and I love the like you say the when it goes fast at the end, the Nico's drum fill that brings it in, and then Steve kicks in underneath, and then he comes in on the snare and just goes down, and then boom, it's almost like another song, but it's not. It flows nicely, not like when you get some people where it just stops and you think, oh, why'd that stop?
Yeah, that at the end as well. Yeah, brilliant. It's fantastic. This would have closed an album back in the 80s. Yeah. We're referring back to what you were saying earlier. And it's not just Maiden, but if a band, and it doesn't necessarily, it applies to all of them, but if you think a band's doing better music 30 years ago than they are today, why are you still listening to them?
Yeah, that's it.
And are you even that much of a fan of them? That's my question. And I've asked myself that of many a band. And I was like, I'm not that into them anymore.
Yeah.
Don't bang on about it. Just move on to another band. There's plenty of them out there.
Yeah.
But, that's my 2 pence worth anyway. Right, Speed of Light.
This is obviously this was our first taste of the album, and this is obviously got Adrian Smith written all over it, hasn't it? It's you can tell sort of thing he would write. And we was discussing it the other day, the video, weren't we? And I actually watched the video last night. This how video games have progressed, like from Donkey Kong going through to fucking Mortal Kombat, then through to Call of Duty, and then finally through to Legacy of the Beast, which is obviously what stemmed from the mobile game that I've still yet to play.
I've still yet to play it as well. I downloaded it on one device, and no matter where I look, it's just not on there. So I don't know where it's saved. And
I think should finally get around. And
I think it's something. Isn't it just on Apple or something like that though?
No, it's on. It's all formats. But
we'll have to go really modern. We'll have to go on D Live or something like that and do like a stream playthrough. when my boy's got his gaming channel up.
Yeah. Fucking hell, yeah. But no,
That's how they'll be earning money in the future. They'll just
don't you? But yeah, this is the song that Nico openly admits that he fucked up the intro.
Oh yeah.
But he said the rest of it because the way they record now, a lot of the albums are the first takes because it's the spontaneity of everyone playing it together.
Yeah.
And he said, I fucked up the intro, and you notice it. But the rest of the song, everyone else hit the ground. Everyone else was banging, so I didn't want to change it. I didn't want to run the risk of doing another take and it not having that same fire. But yeah,
I don't mind that though. I think music needs more of that.
If you listen to the intro, it's a bit off the way his drums. Not so much the start, but it's when it kicks into the main riff. It's really awkward, and it's like he missed the drum or he slips or whatever, and you can notice it. But he said, the rest of the song was banging, so I didn't want to take away from it.
Yeah. Maybe check out the live edition of it then on the live album that followed. I was even drumming along to this in the car. I caught myself actually drumming along, and the person behind me was like thinking, "What the fuck is that guy?" Where that scream kicks in, so you got the old dun, 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 and then Bruce gives his Dickinson scream.
Yeah, it's that feel that's wrong. It's that feel.
Oh right,
it
sounded all right to me, but
no, that's the one he knows. But yeah, no, I mean this is a good song. It's in terms of opening singles for albums, it's much better than Wildest Dreams. You know, it's
much better. I mean,
I know we're going back a couple of albums now, and it's
it has a classic rock feel to it. It reminds me of a Deep Purple song,
and it's probably better, to be honest, as a thing than El Dorado was. I mean, I like El Dorado as a song, but it was not the short, sharp that we're used to from the first single sort of thing. I mean, of course they blew that out the window this time round with Writing on the Wall, but so they're changing it up. But no, in terms of Maiden, typical Maiden. Oh yeah, we love the short sharp. I mean, we're talking short sharp. It's fucking 5 minutes. So exactly short.
But it's a straightforward song, isn't it?
Yes,
I mean,
rocker, yeah.
But again, you have that big epic opener. This is just right. Yeah. We're rocking now. You're sitting there going, bloody hell, what was that all about? And then that's okay. Now you're live and you're in the room, and this is just, there's no massive imagery with this one. This is just, you just picture the band rocking and playing.
And Bruce trying to fit the lyrics in because it's a really weird pattern, the way he sings it.
There's more of that I find on a song coming up than this one, but he's been, we pointed that out on a previous episode, when it felt like he was cramming a load of
it was on
lines
it was when Dave tried to write a 9-minute. It was on The Man Who Would Be King.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I think it was on Dance of Death as well, wasn't it? Where he tries singing along to the riff and does it for like one bar and then just drops it.
It's out of breath.
But no, I think it's a cool little single. I'm happy with this song. The Great Unknown.
Yeah, I mean, this is a song that no one would have really given a fuck about until they played it live because they had to drop Hallowed because of the lawsuit.
Yeah.
And this got picked in. And to be fair, it's I think it's a pretty cool song. And it's a weird one. You don't often see. I'm looking at it on this album, but it's an Adrian Smith, Steve Harris song. You don't often see that pairing.
Yeah.
It's normally Smith Dickinson or Smith Dickinson Harris. You don't often see just Smith and Harris, but they have got a couple on here. And this is I like the music to this, and like I say, it's one of them tracks that, as you say, it's an album track, but because it was picked live, people have paid it more attention because they're like, shit, we've got to listen to this. It's live. We've got to know it to be able to headbang along or whatever. But no, I like this, and it's a nice moody intro, which Maiden have basically trademarked now.
Yeah, I think it can, after repeated listens, I think it does take a while to get to where it's going, but the payoff is worth it.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's a little longer than it is, but when it just like kicks in as well, when it bam, 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 it's sublime. And yeah, of course, when it does kick in as well with a faster pace and the faster vocal melody,
Yeah.
you went all pixelated. Then I didn't know if I'd lost you, but no,
Oh,
you're here.
no,
That's all right.
yeah.
I can hear you. That's the main thing.
Cool.
No, overall, great song, great album track.
Yeah. It's not going to be obviously going to stand up in the pantheon of Maiden classics, but it's a solid track. It's killer filler. You know, we're not in Quest for Fire territory. We're this is a good song, and I actually enjoyed listening to it as I've been playing it in the car and that. It's like fucking I forgot. There's some great riffs in it and some great atmospherics at the beginning and the end. And I like the way the ending goes because it goes back into the intro.
Yeah.
But then just ends. You think it's building up again to something else, but it doesn't. It just sort of tails, not tails off. Tail off is the wrong word. That suggests it.
Bookend is a good little.
Yes, yeah. The way it just
tool they use as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I thought the Red and Black was an Adrian Smith number, especially with the riff that comes in later on. I thought that was just signature Smith, but no, I was wrong.
This is a Steve Shutaway.
This is Harris solo. Wrong.
Yeah.
Harris solo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is Steve Harris writing another song about poker, and gambling, and all that. Because Red and Black
trying to tell us something.
Yeah, but he's written basically 25 minutes worth of music in 2 songs about fucking gambling. And
yeah, well, he made up for that other song.
Yeah, but this is much better than his previous. Well, if his previous effort had been 4 minutes long, like the video was, it would be a great Maiden single of all time. But as we all know, the way it went, it killed it.
Yeah.
But there's no chorus.
No.
He just changes it for the sing-along, which is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I think this is 13 blissful minutes.
Oh, it is.
Maiden.
It's fucking great. It is absolutely.
Every section that goes along just adds to it, and it just gets better as the song goes along.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I love the way it starts on the bass. I love that.
Many a band could just pick this 13 minutes apart and just make individual songs.
Yeah,
and make an album out of it. This is a lesser band's whole album just summed up in the 13 minutes.
Yeah,
I love the just again slowish introduction, but builds up, kicking to that nice. Trying to think of the sort of mid-paced rhythm, but it's built to bum.
How it starts, like I say, it starts on the bass, and we were talking about with British Lion last time how Steve Harris said he wanted to try different things on bass.
Yeah,
this is a Maiden bass sound.
Now it's got a nice, and it goes into that chugging, as it then Bruce comes in with the vocals. You've got that brilliant riff, but also the great whoa moment.
Oh yeah, that's
whoa. Backed by the same melody under the riff.
Yeah,
it sounds fantastic.
It's a proper.
That was awesome live as well.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a mainstay in their live set.
It won't be. It won't be on this tour.
It's probably too long. Yeah.
Yes, the thing. It is too long. It's unfortunate. But I love the end of it as well, where you get that almost unbeliever. You remember that from X Factor?
Yeah. We've got a long way to go though before we get to that.
Yeah. How it gets.
But yeah, it's around that time. It's about 5 minutes in when that fantastic riff or melody, whatever you want. That fucking. And I remember it was Joel McIver who's you know Luke for who wrote the And Justice for All. Is that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
One of the premier journalists in the rock and metal world in the UK. I remember him posting this song, and it's like around the 5 minute mark, he went, this far into their career, they dropped something like that, and it's like, this is why I love this band.
That's the thing, isn't it? You know, like you say, you think most bands are fucking out of ideas by now, and Harris is dropping this on his own.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a collaboration. This is him just sitting in the fucking, just locking himself away, going, right, I've had this melody, sitting on the bog, melody pops into his head or whatever, you know, and he makes nigh on a quarter of an hour song out of it. and it is one of his best.
Yeah,
One of
you've
his
got the other
all-time
riff later
best.
on as well when it kicks in. And then
That's fucking.
you can see Dave smiling
Yeah, you know,
playing
don't
that,
you?
right,
Yeah.
can't you? And yeah, it's just fantastic. It's just all the way through. It just goes from section to section. Everything's in place. Everything's where it needs to be. This is how it's done, folks.
Yeah.
And
It's
4
this is why
songs in, and this blows Final Frontier away.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is an example of why, if Steve Harris isn't, he needs recognition as one of the premier songwriters of the last 50 years, because he continually writes songs that make you go fuck. And all the rest of the Maiden songs, as we now know, when you see Steve Harris at the end, it means people have gone to win with their riffs, and he's made that song out of them. He's got that ear where he can just say, well, no, that we could do this, and then that should be there, and we need to do that. He's the showrunner of the band, mate. Everything goes for him, with the exception of Bruce, I would say. No one goes to him with incomplete songs. Or Bruce doesn't go to him with incomplete songs. Everyone else goes to him and says, Steve, I can't quite fit this together. And he's got the ability to be able to fucking do that. Write shit on his own that most bands would fucking kill to write, but then grabs other people's stuff and says, right, well, if we mix this in the right proportions, here's a fucking hit single. You know, or here's a song that makes the fans go, whoa, you know. The guy's brilliant. And no, he's a fucking fantastic songwriter. He's a fantastic musician, and by all accounts, he's a fucking sound as a pound geezer as well.
Yeah,
he's a legend.
Yeah, you never hear of you never hear of I met Steve Harris and he was a right wanker. I've never once heard that.
It was fucking brilliant because I watched the Anthrax live show, the live stream they did for the 40th anniversary. And peppered in between it was just all like different band members just saying, oh, Anthrax, 40 years, you know, and all that, like fucking Gene Simmons and fucking this, that, and the other. And then Steve popped up in the middle of the fucking Bahamas, obviously at his own house. And he's holding a bottle of fucking Trooper and he says, Anthrax, 40 years, eh? Who'd have thought it? Well done, lads. And that was it. But it was just so him. Everyone else was going, oh, I've got this story and I've got that. And he was like, no, who'd have thought it? Well done, lads. And he's in his typical Cockney accent, and it was just summing the geezer up. I fucking love him.
Yeah.
Except when he does solo stuff.
What do you think of Anthrax? I think they're really good. Good band. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah. And then that's it. He talks like a football manager, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. It just tells you what you need to know and moves on.
Yeah.
No ego, no fuck all. And I love the geezer. Yeah.
When the river runs deep.
Let's not fuck about. This is a song about
Smith.
fishing.
Do you think?
When the river runs deep and the line breaks.
Oh, right.
It's not just about fishing. Obviously, they're using that as a metaphor for death. But it's written by Adrian Smith. You know, it's fucking about fishing.
Yeah.
But this is one I didn't really care for when I first heard it. It was like, oh, it's one of them. And it's one of those rare Maiden tracks that's got a riff in it. It's not a melody. It's the da 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 da. It's a riff. It's an actual riff that you can air guitar to, sort of thing.
I love that opening riff at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's just that signature Maiden riff at the beginning. You know. And it's again like. Oh no, it does repeat it. He always seems to catch your ear at the beginning of a track. He knows how to run a melody through like a heavy song. Yeah. He knows how to write a hook. But he also knows how to get your attention at the beginning. And this is a great little...
Yeah, he is what Maiden missed more than Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, would you argue that had he stayed in the band...
Blaze could possibly still be here now.
Yeah. Because
they wouldn't have missed that songwriting. And, you know... And don't get me wrong, I like No Prayer and I like Fear of the Dark. And I like X Factor and Virtual 11, obviously a bit of a thing me, but there was always something missing through that. And it was Adrian's ability. Well, because it's on No Prayer, you've got Hooks in You.
They would have recovered. Yeah, had Adrian still been in the band, they would have recovered easier. Yeah.
Yes.
I know what you mean. Yeah, there was the two main players. that was gone.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Steve, he's the premier songwriter. He knows how to write these songs that, I mean, look, 2 Minutes to Midnight, stuff like that. Evil That Men Do, Can I Play Madness? You know, his list goes on and on and on. And it's no coincidence that when Brave New World came out, they released Wicker Man first, because it was written by Adrian.
Yeah.
Just to say, look, here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. You know, and he's this is, like I say, this is an album track, but there's some great bits of music in there, and I love the chorus.
It's a hit in the ground running song, and again, it's another palate cleanser after a long song.
After a beast, yeah.
But again, it just as much as the last track was 13 tracks, and this is only 5. It goes through a different bunch of sections. It never actually, you got the chorus and that, but as the song carries on, you've got these different sections that chop and change, and you even got a faster bit as it goes along towards the end as well. When I played this all the way through the other day, there was no point where I was skip this, or I very rarely want to skip a song anyway. But there was no.
But this was, like I say, this was one of the ones when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this doesn't really grab me. But where I've been listening to it, for the review, it's like, fucking hell, no. It has got its merits, and it's got, you know, they're strong. It's just unfortunate that it's sandwiched on any other album.
It kind of fades into the background because you've got these two. You got these two massive skyscrapers, and then you got this little block of flats in the middle. You're not going to catch it, are you?
In my opinion, I think this is what you meant the other day about being controversial. But in my opinion, there's 3 skyscrapers on here.
Oh no, I'm just saying this is between 2.
Oh, right, I can say, right, yeah, because, I mean, it is in between those 2, and it sort of gets missed.
Yeah.
But it's a song that, you know, if they busted it out live, you'd be like, fucking hell.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain, yeah. I say, just chuck it in between Through the Dark and Hello Bed Our Name, so just...
That'd throw people out.
Yeah. Right, so we're on to another... epic.
We're on to the album track, and in my opinion, this is the finest song that Yannick has ever written. And this, naysayers, is why he is in the band, because he writes stuff like this. This is 10 minutes, 27 seconds of absolute brilliance. And I would say it's possibly Maiden's best title track. It is a fucking work of art. And on any other album, this would be the song you take. This would be the song you're talking about after you finished it. It's the fact that it's got 2 other beasts along with it that this gets forgotten about. But this is an absolute fucking work of art.
This was done live as well, wasn't it?
It was.
They did do this live,
I mean, this was. They always play the title tracks, or more or less they play the title tracks, didn't they? But
no, I thought Bruce gave a pretty good introduction, didn't he? He goes, if you're ever sitting in the morning at breakfast, and you're flicking through the paper, and then you go, I wonder whatever happened to the Inca tribe of come out with some fucking year thingy.
Yes,
don't worry, because we're going to sort that one for you now.
We're going to tell you now.
The Book of Souls.
But no, I mean, this is. It starts off typical Yannick. It starts off like The Legacy. He's got a way. He dances around certain notes. He favours them almost, because you can tell Yannick's song a mile away. The Talisman is the same. Dance of Death is the same. He's always in a similar place on the fretboard when he plays. And you can tell him a mile off. But when you've got that brilliant moody intro, and it kicks in with that bass slide, and then it just fucking riff just comes in. And with Nico playing the offbeat on the China.
Yeah.
It's just so heavy. Without actually being heavy. It's just the way the song's constructed. It sounds heavier than it actually is.
It's just really epic as well during that chorus as well, when it builds up with the keyboards back in it as well.
When that fucking chorus kicks in.
Dickinson, the melody that he sings over the top of it as well. It's just
every time that comes on, I well up. I'll get my hairs going on the back of my neck. I'll get a lump in my throat every time. When he sings it, Prophecy of Sky Gods, when it's really high, and like you say, with keyboards behind it. Oh, fuck's sake! I mean, it is one of the best songs they've ever written in 40 years. And yet there's people who go, nah. Yeah. Not Rothschild, is it?
Yeah, it's not Seventh Son.
Cough.
Yeah.
it's stomped Seventh Son into the ground, in my opinion, and it is one of their finest ever. And it's written by Yannick, and it's a brilliant fuck you to everyone who says, "Oh yeah, well, it's Yannick."
All he does is prance around on stage. Get rid of him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he writes fantastic songs, and I've got no doubt that the songs that are on fucking Senjutsu are going to be typical bangers as well. But he writes a banger.
Anything to go by, yeah.
Fucking hell, yeah. I mean, it's amazing, and what a way to close out disc one. It's crazy. Yeah. It's two CDs, but you've got to close out disc one because it's just so fucking long.
Yeah.
You know, and what
I would have been at this.
Yeah, I mean, this is 50. This disc is 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd be happy with this, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, this is longer than Number of the Beast or Peace of Mind.
Yep. I think it's around a similar length to Somewhere in Time.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just guessing there. I did.
Yeah, no, it's longer than Seventh Son. I think. I think it's longer than Seventh Son. It's longer than Peace of Mind, and you would be happy. You'd be like, fucking hell. You got everything you want for Maiden in those 6 tracks.
Yeah.
But no, get CD2 out, boys and girls, because we're going on another ride.
Yeah.
Part 2, technology. We will not be defeated, bitch.
Yes, we've got some technical wizardry, so you're not going to know. But my internet just completely shit itself. I did think, actually, should we put this out in 2 parts? I was gonna put them up both at the same time. I wasn't going to tease you and go, right, a week later. Yeah. I wasn't going to do a Batman on you. Tune in next week. No, but yeah, that was a bit of a git. But I think we decided we're going to conjoin them. So you're not actually going to know. But yeah.
We've just told you.
The internet did just die. So anyway, start as we mean to go on.
We are now defeated.
Yeah, we are now on disc 2.
Death or glory, come on.
For glory, yeah, we will get through this. Yeah,
right,
so
fucking hell, what this is Ace's Eye's fucking retarded cousin, isn't it? I love it.
Well, it's got a few, hasn't it? Because it's got Tail Gunner.
Yeah, but this is I fucking love this. Such a tune, and obviously it was fired up because after Bruce in 2014 did his little mock duel over Sonosphere in the triplanes, in the biplanes, which was.
I saw a Spitfire go over my garden the other day, and I did think, is that Bruce?
Is that Bruce? Wrong era, mate. Fucking hell. But no, this is obviously based on World War One, isn't it?
And there must have been an air show or something.
Yeah.
It was quite a sunny day, so yeah, it's normally.
And he did his
just on that area before Southend, so anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he did his thing at Sonosphere, so obviously this was based on that was pretty cool actually. Did his flyover and mock dogfight and that. And but no, I love every second of the 5 minutes and 13 seconds that we've got. I think this is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. What a way to kick off album 2.
Yeah, I mean, getting another highlight on the live show. Again, it's a 5 minutes of just pure heavy metal bliss, really.
It's everything
we mentioned Judas Priest earlier, but I think this even Priest would have this in their canon.
Yeah, it would.
And again, it's not too riffy or too, everything's just mainly power chords, and it's just a good little rocker.
Nico carries this because the pattern he plays is pretty much non-stop for 5 minutes, and it's a fucking killer. I mean, I try and play it, and I can play it, but it feels like my fire's swollen up because it is literally non-stop. And people think it's a simple beat, but it's constant at the same pace, 5 minutes.
Simple, constant beats are the harder ones. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say with AC/DC, Phil Rudd. Yeah, so all he does is just bump, 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 bump. It's like, we'll get on the If You Want Blood, You've Got It.
Yeah,
the live album, and listen and do the live version of Let There Be Rock.
Yeah.
And it's like, drum along to that, then
come
shut
back.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, again, sometimes the simpler songs are the best ones. It's the most effective. It's got a great uplifting chorus.
Oh, it has.
It's never say die.
That
attitude.
Infamous turn like the devil and climb like a monkey, which was referencing the Red Baron, the famous German pilot or infamous German pilot from World War One.
Yeah.
When he was describing one of the planes, he said it climbs like a monkey and manoeuvres like the devil. So, and that was, of course, when Bruce got everyone to do that live, wasn't it?
Yeah, he came
All that
out with
shit.
like a monkey mask on as well,
Yeah,
which
he
was
did.
a bit.
Yeah. But no, I love this. I've said it before. I'll say it again. And Adrian's solo in this when he brings the slide, fucking
It's up there with
one of his best solos ever.
Evil That Men Do. Yeah.
Yeah, one of his best solos ever. And yeah, I cannot play this song enough. Really, it's everything that is good about Smith Dickinson's song. It's there. There's not one bit missing. It's great sing-along lyrics. It's fucking not so much riffs, but just catchy melodies and chords and solos and everything you want. Everything you want from a metal song.
Yeah, and like I say, this too is yin to disc one's yang.
Yeah,
you know, it's completely topsy-turvied round, but this one, you know, hits the ground running as it opens.
Yeah, big time.
And yeah, what a way to open it. So yeah, slightly different with Shadows in the Valley.
Yes,
similar
Yannick's second
opening riff to
Wasted Years.
Yeah, not a complete rip-off, but it's similar.
Yeah, it's obviously Yannick's second contribution to the album, and it's totally different to his first one. And this is another one of those album tracks that you might skip over, but it's actually a bit of a beast. And it's got cool artwork as well, because obviously they did the T-shirt of it, didn't they, at the Book of Souls tour? You had that, and you had Hello Been Our Name on the back. It's the one both of us have got. The red skull.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shadows of the Valley underneath. And I didn't actually check, but I'm going to do it now.
I thought I was wearing it, actually, but this is a fan club
No, you're wearing a fan club one, aren't you? I thought I wanted to check. I should have done it before, but just very unprofessional. I'll do it now. I want to check what the meaning behind the lyrics. If it's...
I thought it was just part of the whole concept of the art. I thought with the Book of Souls...
Yeah, no, to me,
the artwork
it sounds
looks like it's...
Because you're talking about, at the end, when you get that brilliant sing-along bit over the riff, it's Into the Valley of Death, Fear No Evil. And it's the Charge of the Light Brigade. Into the Valley of Death.
Right, yeah.
That's what made me think it was like related to the same, obviously, lyrical inspiration for the Trooper.
Well, that was part of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Charge of the Light Brigade.
It's that epic poem, isn't it?
Yeah, Into the Valley of Death, Fear No Evil.
No, into the thingy, the thingy charge, guns to the left of them, guns to the right of them.
Yeah.
One of my old bosses used to quote it word for word when he was pissed. That was a good little party trick. I had one boss that could do Rapper's Delight on the karaoke, and he was the most middle-aged white man, un-hip hop person ever. So the fact that he would get a mic out and just go, I said a hit, and he would know every word. He'd do the whole thing. But then the other one would just sort of look, he'd get like a bit of a gleam in his eye and go, into the valley, the thing he would charge.
Yeah.
Cannons to the, how is it? Cannons to the left, cannons to the right. It just go off on this thing.
That's what that's what Bruce says before Passchendaele.
Yeah.
On the live thing, yeah.
He did, yes, he did. But I'm sure that was the Trooper was based on that though. But
he's probably mixed it up, but it's a good poem, isn't it? But no, the more I read the lyrics, the more I think it is talking about the Charge of the Light Brigade. I walk in the shadow of the Valley of Death now, and I take my last breath. And into the Valley of Death, fear no evil. We will go forward, no matter the cost. Into the Valley of Death, follow me now. Bring me your souls, and I'll make it our last. But yeah, I think it is. And you got an awesome OOO bit towards the end.
Mm.
And it's got some really fucking good riffs and some brilliant,
nice little riffs towards the end as well. That as well, yeah. Yeah, we're rocking on this one.
We are.
There's no slowing us down on this.
And this is a song in one of the reviews I read that one of the review, I think it was in the fucking Guardian or some bollocks or Rolling Stone or someone who's got no business reviewing Maiden whatsoever said this was turgid.
I don't know about. Well, I will say the one reason I would read the Guardian is because Joel McIver and Dom Lawson do the music reviews in it.
Do they?
Normally the metal ones, yeah. So for all the Guardian's sins, their arts section is pretty. They're pretty on point when it comes to music, films and all that.
Whoever reviewed it called this song turgid. Fuck off. It's anything but turgid. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Well, I suspect it was Dom Lawson, but I would think better of him. So, but normally, if I happen to come across a review in the Guardian, it's normally either Joel McIver or Dom Lawson. But doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. But again,
he seems to be popping up on Blabbermouth more. Most of the reviews on Blabbermouth seem to be Dom Lawson now.
Wilson, yeah.
And
again,
Dom Lawson wouldn't dare say a bad word against Maiden. So, it must have been
one of the others. Yeah, that's it, But again, this is another song that on any other album would be a song you take away with you.
Yeah.
But it's surrounded by so many fucking good songs. It gets lost in the pack. A bit like The Great Unknown and Where the River Runs Deep. They're three of Maiden's better album tracks.
Yeah.
But they're sort of just swamped by this enormous shadow of the three absolute colossal bastards that are on this album.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, and we all know what's coming. So it feels like every song is just along the way. It's just we've got a build up coming later. So it's a bit hard to concentrate on the songs that are coming on the way. You know what I mean?
It's a bit of shit. Yeah, I see. Yeah, you do sort of. You're not paying them its due attention, but it's only now.
You know, there's a big boss coming, so you're just kind of not really standing and looking around.
That's it. But it's only now. Now we've heard what came. We can give them their proper appreciation.
Yeah,
and and they deserve it, and as does track 3 on this disc too, "Tears of the Clown," or "Tears of a Clown." Sorry, it's a Smith Harris composition, and it's weird lyrical because it's actually about someone as opposed to an event or a made up thing or whatever. It's actually about Robin Williams.
Yeah,
and obviously committed suicide. Everyone was like, "Well, where the fuck did that come from?" And you listen to the lyrics, and it's just Steve's opinion on what he thinks was going on with the man, and it is what it is. And some pretty good lyrics to, if I say they're pretty good lyrics for the subject. I think they're well written, and I like the song, and it's got it's quite a unique riff as well, where it's sort of a staccato, stop-starty riff that Adrian's put together. That's, you don't often get that in a Maiden song because it's a riff more than a melody.
Yeah,
and I think this, like I say, I think this flows along nicely for 5 minutes.
No, it's a thingy subject, isn't it? The
suicide and all that. I mean, everyone's got an opinion. I mean, I've got an opinion on it, but it's not.
It's not so much the suicide. It's about someone who's disguising their depression or the fact that they're thinking by putting on a smile.
Yeah.
And I mean, it happened to a friend of my dad's actually. He was found and he'd topped himself, and but it was like, the other night he was fine, like he was out of everyone, and I distinctly remember the pub closing and him shaking hands with my dad, and but he was talking to him as he was shaking his hand, and they were talking, the way drunks get a bit, I love you, don't you? And I remember my stepmom going, "Oh, come on, they're bloody, we were waiting all night for them." And we started walking along, and in a few minutes, like, my dad was catching us up, going, "What happened to you two? I was only bloody talking to it,
Yeah.
But it was just distinctly, I remember, it was like a couple of days later, I found out he had died.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, what was you talking to him about?" And he was like, "Nothing." He was just like, you're a good pal, and giving it the old drunken.
He was saying
love.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah. It's just an odd concept because Robin Williams was, everyone knows Robin Williams for, all these films and whatnot. But it's often with comedians as well. They reckon it's a bit of a rush. You get that, the whole room laughing, and then you go backstage and it's there's no it's the come down afterwards.
Yeah.
It's the same with rock stars, and it's a odd concept. I think it was more inspired by what happened with Robin Williams rather than if they were going to do a tribute to Robin Williams, fair enough, but they could have fucking done one with Clive Burr. That's all. If we're doing tributes.
No, I mean, it's a different scenario, isn't it? And Clive was a close thing. They probably wouldn't want to air their dirty laundry not dirty laundry, but air their personal things. But this is Steve. Steve probably thought. Looked up at Robin Williams as someone as a like not a hero, but whereas Clive would have been a mate, it would have been more difficult to write stuff about that.
Yeah.
On an album, I think. So I think you're being a bit harsh there.
oh well.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think this is more loosely based on the scenario rather than the person.
Right,
but yeah, could well be. I mean, I won't speak for whoever wrote the lyrics.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, it's a pretty good driving song. I
think
it's
a good
it's a bit of a somber in tone, so the somber lyrics kind of suit it really. Yeah,
and it sort of flows nicely after Shadows of the Valley, which is, although the subject matter is pretty fucking grim if it is about the death of all them people, but it's quite an upbeat song, isn't it? Yeah. Whereas this sort of comes back down to another level, like you say, it's pretty somber, and it changes the level and the pace of the album, which is good. You're getting these. It's not just a straight line. Is this album? Is it? We're all over the place, and it's keeping you on your toes. You're like, oh fucking hell! You're constantly getting new information, if you like, not two songs that are similar.
It's all peaks and valleys, isn't it? It's all different tones, different. That's what's so great about this album. Even though it is a long album, it flies by because it's
not a tiring
changing.
Album, is it? It's not like, oh fucking hell, you know what's going on here. You're along for the ride, aren't you?
Yeah, all the way through. You know? It constantly drags you along. It keeps you coming, keeps you interested, keeps you engaged.
And it's ironic that we say that before we get to the Man of Sorrows, which officially is the end of the Dave Murray banger. This is the second album in a row he's written a song that just isn't up to his usual standards. I mean,
think this is too bad.
The first, for me, it's the worst song on the album by far. And it's the first 2.5 minutes of it are utterly forgettable. Utterly forgettable. The intro is quite bad, really, for when Dave's doing the lead over the picking. The solo just rambles. It doesn't go anywhere. It almost seems like he fucking stumbles over himself. And then it sort of does that for about 30, 40 seconds, and it kicks in. I say inverted commas because it doesn't kick in. It's just fucking lifeless. The music, they all come together, but it's just nothing. It's empty. And then it kicks in again about 2 minutes in, and it's just a fucking boring riff that, this is not Dave Murray territory. It gets good 2.5 minutes when the chorus kicks in, and the chorus is really, really good. There's a great melody underneath of it, and the rest of the song is all right. But this is we've been at such a high level with Dave Murray that the last two efforts, they're really. I don't know whether it's. I don't know, because I was going to say whether he's sort of taken Adrian's inspiration into trying to write long songs, but he wrote Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and that is fucking amazing. And that's like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
He helped write Brave New World, which is 6.5 minutes. But this is the one that I get to skip, and I'm like, no, I won't. But it's a complete gut punch, like to.
Yeah, I don't know. I quite like this song. I mean, it never really struck me as having anything wrong with it. I mean, I suppose listening to what you're saying, I suppose it kind of stumbles on its way to get to where it's going. But
yeah, like I say, because the chorus and the melody and all that, they're fucking really good.
I think it's got a really good chorus. Yeah, and then I think it's got a nice little jammy section in the middle where it seems like everyone throws a solo in. Yeah. And I quite like as well how the song ends. I quite like the way it all just reduces into that mellow bit as it. Like
that's what I say, yeah, the sort of last...
Which leads into the next song quite nicely. It seems like this is like the 4 minutes...
Not say the 4 minutes of the song after that 2.5 minutes of shit, it's really good. And if you could just lock that off and start it with the chorus...
Do you not think the poorest song on an album like this could be... I mean, how would you think... if it was on another album, do you think it would...
No.
No?
No, it's not like Shadows of the Valley or The Great Unknown. It's just... great song on its own merits that had just been overshadowed.
Yeah.
It's a song that they really should have said, Dave, no. I can't really do a lot with this.
I mean, if I was ever you're going to see Bruce Dickinson soon, aren't you?
Yes, a couple of weeks.
If you do get a question, I would ask, if you can't think of a better one.
Yeah.
How is there do they exist, and if not, how many? An album's worth, a box set's worth of songs that weren't used?
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Yeah, like ones that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, I mean, they can't just have 10 songs every
No.
time. They must have done 12 or 13,
Yeah.
15, whatever, and they've
The ones
scaled
that
it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what ones have been left behind? Is there one song that was left over that went on the next one? I don't know,
Yeah.
but
when you guys retire, are we getting a box set of like 50 songs?
Well, is it an album? I mean, is it?
Yeah.
It could just be one album or two.
That's it,
I mean,
Yeah,
people that have been going for like 5 years only have released like 2 albums in their lifetime, and then have died. And 10 years later, we're getting we've got more Jimi Hendrix albums than we ever got.
Yeah, that's it.
So there's no way a band with a catalogue like Maiden hasn't accumulated a backlog.
Unless they do just recycle stuff for later and rework it. Yeah,
Yeah.
But no, that's a good question. So I'll try and remember.
Right, we've made it.
We're all. This is the one that grabbed everyone's attention when they announced the album. 18 minutes, written solely by Bruce Dickinson, which was like 18 minutes being the first one. You're like, fucking hell, it's Maiden's longest song. You know, it's taken them all that time, and they finally topped Mariner. And you're looking for Steve Harris's name, and it ain't there. So it's like, whoa, what the fuck are we going to get out of this?
Yeah.
This is going to be. It could have gone one of two ways. Either the way it did go, or it could have gone right down the pan. Which gives a spoiler alert as to what I think of the song. But it could have been a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Dickinson just being left untouched for 18 minutes. Because we've all heard his solo stuff. And for every Tears of the Dragon, there's a I'm in the band with an Italian drummer, isn't there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's fucking. He goes across the spectrum, and unless he gets reined in, we've never had him. You know, don't get me wrong. Power Slave was great. Fucking Revelations was great. If Eternity Should Fail was great, but we've never had him this long, just unleashed. But I mean, fucking hell. I don't know what your opinion of the song is, but for me, it's a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the best thing about this as well is that it's the finer details. It's the strings in the thing, and
that's it. Yeah, that is amazing.
Again, anyone that's some of the worst snobs are the ones that think they're the most sophisticated. It's like, oh yeah, heavy metal. That's a load of crap, isn't it? Well,
yeah, that's the thing.
Let's see Chris Martin write a song like this.
Yeah.
Or,
and everyone knows Iron Maiden, and everyone who doesn't like metal has got their preconceptions of what Iron Maiden sound like.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's what Iron Maiden sound like in 2015.
Yeah.
Off you trot.
Yeah.
They blow their fucking mind, because they would not be able to grasp the absolute. This is just a majestic composition, and like you say, you've nailed it. It's the finer details. It's not the riff. It's not the drums. It's those strings that just accompany the piano, that come in and do their own little thing. And Nico's already said he wants to play it live.
Yeah, I mean,
this has got to be the centerpiece of the fabled fucking orchestra.
Even the lyrics as well. It's like a poem. You could take the music completely out. It reads as a story, and even then, It's some songs you just picture the band playing, but then there's another song where you picture the story, and it's even the opening. You just picture that Zeppelin or whatever the fuck it was, going through the sky with clouds passing by it.
It's such a
even as the song changes, you see the lightning strike. You see the clouds.
That's what I wanted to say.
You see the change in the weather. And
it strikes me. It reminds me of. Do you remember back in the day? You have the old silent movies.
Yeah.
Before talkies, and it'd all be music.
Yeah, and it'd have like the title come up. Yeah.
And when something happened that was major, there'd be really major musical accompaniment. Mm. Well, you get your first part, which is all you've nailed it, all the pianos and the strings of all this journey, and then all of a sudden it's like dun 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 dun, and it gets slower when shit starts to go wrong. Yeah. That's the second act kicking in.
Yeah.
And then when we get through that awesome 6 minutes, 7 minutes of music, you get the when the fucking thing's on fire and crashing to the ground. It reminds me of a silent film. Watching this black and white, fucking poorly filmed thing with this musical accompaniment, and it's fucking great. It transcends being just a song.
Yeah, I mean, again, it opens like a Shakespeare play would open with someone telling you what happens at the beginning.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and I've just been reading the Iliad actually and Beowulf, and at the beginning, what blows my mind about the Iliad or things like it, the Odyssey and all these classic poems, and it's always starts with everyone gather round, and he's coaxing because what they used to do in the public square, to say somewhere like Covent Garden where you've got all the street performers, they would tell the story then. So this thing that I'm reading fucking like 1,000 years later was remembered. They would tell the story line for line, and they'd remember the whole thing. And at the beginning, it's everyone come around because I'm going to tell you a story about such and such, such and that. And that goes on a little bit before the story actually starts. Yeah. And it's like that with the lyrics to begin with. So, when you're listening to it, you conjure up, you see it flying through the sky. And it's like beautiful. And then, like, when he goes for the lyrics, just try and look a few up. But, for all you non-believers, the Titanic fits inside. Yeah. But again, now I see the warehouse or the thing that it was built in. Yeah. And the big gates opening, and then it just...
Because you know how big the Titanic
and you've got a guy giving a guided tour. This is the such and such, And for all you non-believers, the Titanic fits inside. That's the sales pitch to the guy that's trying to sell the thing and sell the tickets to get on board and, all the rest of it. And, the whole thing just plays out like you just see the animated. I see it animated in my head.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be brilliant if they did do like they did with Writing
you don't need Eddie in it. It doesn't. It doesn't even have translate as an Iron Maiden. It's just a classic piece of music.
An animation, a short animation, 18 minutes or 17 minutes, 46 seconds, whatever it actually is. It'd be fucking brilliant.
I kind of picture it as Raymond. Who's the guy you mentioned last time with the Wild Wind Blows? He did the Snowman.
Raymond. Fucking hell.
Santa Claus, Grumpy Santa Claus, and then he did a fungus. I picture that sort of animation as well in my head for some reason.
Raymond Briggs, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
I'll soon find out. Google is my friend. I can't remember. My missus was here. She'd be shouting at me.
I think we know.
Raymond Briggs, yes. It would work brilliantly, yes, with that sort of animation. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's majestic, absolutely majestic, and I would kill. I'd pay. There'd be no limit to the amount of money I would pay to see them do an orchestral show with this as the centrepiece.
I think 100 years from now, mate.
Oh, there'll still be.
This will be played by an orchestra.
Yeah.
I think we're seeing. There was on Planet Rock the other day. Tickets went on sale. An orchestra. A band and a full orchestra doing Queen songs. Yeah. Our mate Toby Jepson is doing vocals. He's one of the. There's more than one singer, obviously. But he's going to be on there.
Oh, cool.
I think they'll be doing that. I mean, they did it with Zeppelin as well. I think there'll be years into the future. There'll be orchestral shows doing Iron Maiden's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And the singers of the day will be.
They just lend themselves so well, don't they? Yeah. The way Steve and the way Dickinson writes. I mean, fucking hell. Awesome. And, what a way to end an album. I mean, fuck's sake.
Well,
they always say fucking, you give them a fucking, you grab their attention first and you grab their attention and you leave their attention wanting nothing else. Fuck's sake.
Obviously it's not now, but if this was to be their last album, what a way to go out.
It always worries me because they always end an album. I mean, I really loved, as you know, When the Wild Wind Blows on Final Frontier. If that had been their last album, for me, that would have been such a great way for Maiden to say, see ya.
Yeah.
This would have been as well. So it always makes you worry when they release a new one. It's like, they're going to fuck it up.
They've got their work cut out for this new album, haven't they?
Oh, they have, big time. Because this...
Go on, sorry.
Let's say this. When it first came out, obviously I loved it. I live and breathe Maiden, as anyone will tell you. And in the previous sort of 6 years, if I listened to this album, I listened to The Red and the Black, The Book of Souls, Empire of the Clouds. I just go to those three. Oh, and Death or Glory as well I go to. Just those 4 tracks out of the 11. But knowing I was coming up to the review, I've listened to this constantly. Even when we was reviewing the other stuff, I've had this always on because it's such a thing to take in. And the whole fucking album's, for me, saved Man of Sorrows. Fucking hell, what a work of art it is. And it's just another reunion era album that just smacks it out of the stadium. Just fucking see ya, home run, 6, whatever your fucking preference is.
Slight misstep on mate. Final Frontier for me, but
even again, that was a high 7, low 8 because it did have quality songs on.
Yeah, there were still good moments on it.
But
I just meant as a whole.
Just because we got spoiled by what come before.
And even Dance of Death, some of the hidden gems on that album.
And Brave New World was a fucking masterpiece anyway. As we've rated it as possibly Maiden's best. And A Matter of Life and Death, fuck's sake. I mean, again, everything they do now, it's like the Midas touch. It's like, oh, there you go, gold. Oh, yeah, gold. Can they do it again? Got a month to wait.
Yeah, we'll see. So, I've just got the dinners ready thing.
Yeah,
so,
I mean,
and we've gone over because of our technical balls up.
But this is 9 out of 10. I mean, it would have been 10 if Man of Sorrows had been up to the rest of the album. But this is 9 out of 10. This is a fucking masterpiece. If you're not giving modern day Maiden a fair listen, what are you even doing with your life? Because it demands your attention.
Yeah, you are the one missing out, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you are. As simple as that. I love the old stuff as much as anyone. But this new stuff, it just needs to be listened to with headphones in the dark where you can soak up every little nuance that's going on. It ain't just long songs for the sake of being long. They're long songs because they got 1,000 things going.
Of course, yeah. And again, at the beginning of Empire of the Cloud, you do think, oh, strap yourself in. This is going to be a long one. And it just flies by. It just goes. So for me, this is 10 out of 10. Again, even before the album came out, Nico Brain was being interviewed on a radio station, tell us about the new album. And he said,
he was raving about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said it's a piece of work, is what he said.
Yeah.
And he was right. And I would. This is up there with the post reunion albums or in the whole back catalogue. I'd even put my balls on the table and say this is better than Brave New World. And
it's a statement,
when I do my top, I think we'll be doing the top 5 at some point.
I think we'll end up having to do the top 16 because it's just going to be so fucking hard.
But I think that's cuts off because you're going to have 5, I'm going to have 5. Yeah. Otherwise, it will go on forever.
Yes,
but this is definitely. I think this and Brave New World and as a matter of Life and Death are definitely in the top 5 and fighting for that first place, along with another album that we won't mention. But no, I think it's a phenomenal album, and I think it's going to age wonderfully. And the fact that most people haven't even fucking heard it is. Well, it says more about the metal scene than it does anything else. Yes. I mean, and that's not just Maiden as well. I mean, my good friend Jackie Smith from Into the Necrosphere was talking about. He did a great podcast the other day with the label. I don't know if she owns the label or just runs it, but she's from Season of Mist. And they just said there's something I've been saying for the last years. Creatively speaking, metal is in another golden age now, whether you like it or not. Yeah. And it is, so many albums people just aren't hearing because they're just banging on about the 90s or the 80s or wherever their heyday was, And he was talking about black metal in particular in that point in time, going, you got people that are still just banging on about the first Mayhem album and the first Dark
Black metal's fucking gone through such. I mean, I'm not a black metal fan.
Yeah, he's just gone it's just gone leaps and bounds since then, you know. And he was just saying, like, in the last year alone, he went like he was just masterpiece after masterpiece, and people just don't even want to know. So yeah, there's no excuse, people. It's all there, and it's easier to get hold of than ever before.
Yeah,
new music is where it's at, and don't be fucking fooled by people. Yeah, there's a lot of shit music out. I'll give you that. Yeah. And the more mainstream, the worse it is. But you know better than that because you're listening to this. You're into your rock and you're into your metal and
you're into your classics. Yeah.
Yeah. you know good
And
stuff when you hear it.
and the
And
bands are still-
there is great stuff happening now.
These old bands are still banging it out. I mean, look at Priest, for fuck's sake. Firepower was a fucking top 10 album.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they're still doing it, these bands. You know, so yeah, just get out and, like you say, get on your Spotify, get on Apple Music, or even just go down to fucking HMV and pick up the CDs if they're still there.
Yeah.
However you do it, fucking listen
and
to it.
via Bandcamp or Spotify or even YouTube. YouTube is what MTV should have been.
Yes.
And, you know, you just click on something you like and then boom, 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 boom.
And you'll follow a rabbit hole, won't you? Go down a
You'll
rabbit hole.
go down a rabbit hole and find something new, you know?
Okay.
And
I've been there.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to have to cut it off there, folks. Thanks for watching. As ever, thanks for everyone that comments. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you do want to help us out in any way, just click that like button, give us a subscribe, share it with your friends. If you're speaking about Maiden, give us a reference. And yes, we're at the end of the Maiden series.
Yeah, Maiden's done. Fucking hell. I mean,
we've still got an album coming out. We've got a few more Blaze Bayley albums coming up. We've got the Adrian Smith collaboration
with Richie
Kotzen. And next week we are hooking up with our buddy old pal.
Are we going right the way back, are we?
Paul Diano
Fucking hell.
with Architects of Chaos. So that'll be next issue. Till then, have a good weekend or a good week whenever this does go out. I've got 6 night shifts to do. So, you know, I'll see you on the other side.
That's a shitter, isn't it?
Take care.
Laters.